Got here a small block Chevy 350. This is a 3970010 engine block casting. Was produced from 68 to 76. I know for a fact this came out of a 71 because I yanked it out myself. This was over 20 years ago I did that. Probably closer to 30, but I've had it a long time. But the gas prices went through the roof, and I was driving a 76 Blazer into the city, and this thing would pass everything on the highway except for a gas station. So I did the plunge and bought a car for commuting and parked the truck, and eventually the body rotted off of 76 Blazer, of course. So I just yanked this and put it in the back of the shop, knowing full well that I'd use it again someday. It's been sitting there for at least 10 years. We're going to take it, put it on a stand, pull it apart just to go over it. It does turn over by hand, no problem. It needs a good cleanup. There was mice living under the valve covers and stuff. So we're going to throw it on a stand here and have a good look at it. Alrighty. Just buttoning up the engine stand bracket here. Oh, may as well go around good and tight. Go up a bit. More. There we go. Pin back in. Alrighty. The dirty old small block is now on the engine stand. The intake's probably not the greatest, but that's good because we ain't using it anyway. And these old intakes, man, they get some dirty. The crap that sits in some of these passages. Now I only put this 2-barrel on because I stole the 4-barrel intake that was on this. I got a good Edelbrock, so I'm going to put that 2-barrel on there because I knew it was going in the storage and I didn't want to leave the top of the engine wide open. Okay, the intake's only held on with 12 bolts, 3/8. An old 2-barrel. Look at that. That's why we pull our motors apart, folks. Even with the intake on, the mice still went in here and made a nest. Imagine trying to start, you didn't take that intake off and try to start that, what you would get. Apparently they needed that push rod for their house. Yeah, I think we'll be reusing those. Inside of the block's a lot cleaner. There's still a little bit of surface rust and stuff, and some of these lifters I'm going to replace all of them. Next step, we're going to yank these heads off. Alright, so we got a little bit cleaner. Hit it with some WD-40 to loosen up some of the crap that was in there. And just went in with a wire wheel on the drill. So there's a bunch of loose stuff, but we'll get that all off. Blow it out later. What's that?
I guess it kind of helps. I don't really know what it is.
It's a piston.
Oh, it's an actual. That's a big piston.
Hmm?
That's a huge piston.
See all these bolts right here?
This one?
Take those off. Do it nice and fast.
It's not working, Dad.
Rusty.
This is not going to come out.
No, still gotta take the old pin.
Why won't it come out? Oh. You put all that in there?
Alright, just getting around to pulling out the pistons here. You can see there's some scoring on that crank. It's an old engine. There's a bit of a lip there. So this one's more worn than here. We're going to see about getting that crank machined. Take 10,000 off, put in some oversized bearings. Same as the mains. You can just barely feel them, but that's too much. So normal wear and tear over the years. Nothing colossal. Nothing a machine shop can't fix, most likely. Okay, I got the cam ripped out over here. The reason this one I stopped using this engine was because it had bad lifter noise, and I could tell that it was the cam because it wouldn't take an adjustment. And let me just show you here. There's a bad lobe right there. You can see how it's all rounded off. Okay, compared to those guys, and look at the lift on that compared to that. Okay, this was an aftermarket cam, high lift. This was a street performance cam. You can see there's another bad lobe there. Quite a bit of material off of that, and a third one. Okay, again, this had a lot of miles on it, and with the hydraulic lifters, they can make up for a lot, but not that much. Okay, so you can see they're rounded off pretty good. So we had a total of 3 bad lobes. The front are the only ones that was working, so basically it was running on half the cylinders for the most part. And that's really the only thing that was wrong with it, other than old age and normal wear. So I just got to rip the oil filter off, and that thing's ready to go off to the machine shop. We're going to get it tanked and bored 30 over. They'll check the crank and see if it's savable or not. I think it will be. So yeah, it's got a lot of miles. I mean, it had bearings put in it at one point and new seals, and that's the extent of it. Other than the cam, that's a factory engine. Bench full of parts.